Hi everyone, welcome to this video on how to use XSplit, how to set up XSplit so you can do broadcasting of your own. A couple of people out there want to get into using XSplit on Vaughan Live TV or any other broadcasting platform, and this really I'll talk you through some ways on setting up various screens and things, various screen sources, and you know, your basic setup. So as you can see on the screen right now, we've got the Vaughan Live page. Now this is where you would log in. Obviously I'm already logged in. I've resized the screen. As you can see at the moment, I've got the browser over here which has got my log on, and also on a second tab I've got my YouTube video, which is where I want to do my screen grabs from, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Over here we've got the pop-out chat. Now if you don't know about pop-out chat on Vaughan Live, it's very simple. What you do is you click on the options tab over here on the right at the bottom of your chat room, and there is an option for pop-out chat. You click that and you'll get a pop-out chat window. This is really handy because what you'll find is if you want to do YouTube grabs and you want to play music on your cast, you can't always keep an eye on your screen and watch YouTube videos at the same time, especially if you've only got one monitor. It's virtually impossible to do that with virtually having one monitor. Hope that makes sense, because as you can see here, the screen I've got here is pretty much clamped up with things. It's very busy. There's a lot going on the screen at the moment. So down here, this is our XSplit broadcaster. Okay, now I'm going to assume that you've gone into your settings and you've set up your Vaughan Live TV configurations. I'm not going to talk you through that, but what I will do is we'll go down here and we'll show you some of the various screens. Now what I'm using here is XSplit Broadcaster version 2. This is a new version, so if you're running a version earlier than version 2, I think 1.3 was the version before that, then you need to upgrade. Be careful when you upgrade though, because you may need to do some minor tweaks, but I'm sure at some point they will stop you from using version 1.3 and force you into using version 2, so you may as well get used to it now. So using XSplit, you're allowed to have 12 separate screens, and in XSplit they're called scenes, and as you can see here, I've got one screen called YouTube Full. I've got another screen. There we go. There's me. Hello folks, how you doing? I've got a Winamp split screen, so essentially this is what I use to play the basic tunes from my local library. As you can see down here, I use Winamp. I've only called it Winamp so that I know when I'm not playing YouTube videos, I know it's local tunes, and Winamp is easy for me because it's got a nice sort of a very small interface, and I find it really easy to use. So there's another scene here called YouTube Split. As you can see, we've set up some split screen kind of stuff going down there. I've got me in the corner, hello. Over there we've got some animations, and over in the bottom right hand corner we've got Studio 54, because this weekend in Vaughan Live's cast we're going to be doing the top 100 disco, so I'm getting it all set up ready for that. I've got another screen down here called Winamp. Okay, I've got another one here called I'll Be Back 2, and this is basically just a screen of animations that I play when I need a little bit of a wee break. If I've been on the beer, I need to pop away from the screen for a few seconds, I'll play that screen, or I'll be playing another screen here called I'll Be Back 1. There we go. And obviously when I'm playing a song, the bottom of the screen there will display what the song is. And here's a section I call Going Live. This is what you'll see before I go live. When I cast, I tend to cast about 5 minutes before I'm due to start, and I just leave this running and I'll play a tune while I'm getting myself set up and ready. And there's another screen here called Uvu. Now unfortunately Uvu, there is no Uvu plugin for XSplit. What you have to do is configure your screen so that whenever everyone pops in on Uvu, you can grab them, and I'll show you how to do screen grabs in a second. Really difficult to do Uvu without a second screen though. Virtually impossible, folks. You will struggle with it. You will need to see what you're doing on XSplit in order for you to be able to do Uvu casts. And of course, the only way you're going to do that is if you have the XSplit broadcaster minimized as small as you can. Now, in order to minimize the XSplit broadcaster, you click on View and you do Scale Viewport, and normally it would be a full screen, so there's your full screen there. So if you do View, Scale Viewport, chuck it down to 30%, and then you can move it around the screen and place it where you want it. I usually have it at 30%, tucked away in the corner of the screen, so I can still see where I'm going and what I'm doing. I can see what you guys are seeing, and you know, it works really well. Also, we've got a disco screen here and another disco screen here, and if I want to do any grabs, not just from YouTube, but from a site called MUZU, I click on that and I set up another browser window on my second monitor, and I grab the videos that way. But I'm not going to show you how to do that here. Again, this is all about getting YouTube working and setting up your own screens. So the best way to do that, folks, is for you to understand when we're talking about screens, XSplit refers them as scenes. So as you can see, we've got 12 scenes here, but essentially they're just different rooms, if you like, and they would change the display to what you're seeing on the screen. Now in this one, the sources in this box here are completely empty. So let's say, for argument's sake, I wanted to add YouTube onto this scene, so that you know, in between playing my own tunes, I wanted to play a YouTube video for someone. You know, someone might pop into the room and say, can you play this YouTube link for me? And I'm happy to do that. So what we do here then, folks, is we need YouTube open. So we click over here, and as you can see, I've got a YouTube video lined up ready to play. In this instance, it's Men at Work, Overkill, one of my favourite tunes. I'm not going to play it, so don't worry about that too much. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to show you how to capture that part of the screen. So what we do then is, because we want to capture that part of the screen and show it on our XSplit screen here, we have to add a source. So if we click on that, we need to do a screen capture. If we click on screen capture, as you can see here, I've got a little sort of crosshair that I can move around the screen, and that will enable me to capture sections of the screen as I want to. So for argument's sake, if I wanted to capture the Winamp, I could do that, and there we go. Inside our XSplit window there, we've got Winamp, and obviously you can resize that as we go so it fills as much of the screen as you want it to. There we go. And there we go, we have Winamp on the screen, but we don't want that. So if you add something onto your scene, your current scene, you can remove it just by clicking the remove button. Boom, and it's gone. So in this instance, what we need to do is we need to capture the YouTube. So we need to add a source, we need to do a screen capture, and we need to go up here and we need to get as close as we can to where the top of the YouTube video starts. Now you hold your finger down on the left mouse button and you move the box all the way over to capture that part of the screen, and you don't let go until you're happy with it. And what you'll do is, when you release your mouse button, there it is, it will pop up on your XSplit window, and then you just resize it as we go. You get it how you want it, and there you go, you've got your full screen YouTube grab. Now the only problem with this, of course, is if you move anything in front of that part of the screen, you're going to have problems. Actually, it looks like it's been fixed in this version of XSplit. which is really good. But if I change my browser to a different tab, it will actually grab what's in that tab. So you can see why when you're playing a YouTube video you need to have that tab open all the time, or all that's going to happen is the people in your cast are going to see that part of the browser. So as you can see, it's really fiddly, folks. You need to keep an eye on it, and you need to keep on top of it, because if you don't, people are going to see stuff that you don't want them to see. So it really is quite difficult to set this up initially, but once you get your head around it, it's absolutely fine. And you know, so let's say for argument's sake we're getting to the end, and I'm going to mute this video. We're getting to the end of the Men at Work video, okay? So we'll assume that that's playing and it's coming to the end. So what I will do now is, it's probably 10 seconds towards the end of the video, I'll go back to me, and I'll do that by clicking full screen. Hello, how you doing? And then I'll play a local tune, and I'll click on Winamp, and I'll fade out either the YouTube video, or I'll fade in my local tune. And what you can do there is then you can reopen your video screen so you can see what everybody else is seeing. It's important that you have your web page open in a tab, so that if somebody's in your room and they say we've got some problems here, there's lagging, you can then see what they're seeing. Okay? Does that make sense, folks? Hopefully it does, and you can't answer back, so I'm going to have to assume that it does make sense. If there is any lagging, then you'll be able to see what they're seeing, so you'll be able to figure out that it is in fact a problem with your cast, or it is maybe a problem with Vaughan Live, or there's a problem on the internet that's it's not your problem at all. Alright, so let's say then, here we go, we're over in Uvu, in our Uvu scene. We're not going to call it Uvu though, because we're going to call it YouTube, because that's what we're doing. We're going to change the name in there to YouTube. There we go. So that's now called YouTube. However, as you can see, we're still in that scene, and it's grabbing the part of the browser that I don't want it to. So what you need to do, folks, is when you're in your other screen, you then need to craftily, while you're talking to someone, and bearing in mind you're going to have people in the room at this point, you're going to have to change the tab back to the YouTube, so that when you flick back to your YouTube scene, there it is, and you can play the next tune that someone's asked for in YouTube. Or you can create, obviously in YouTube you can create playlists, and you can do it that way. So let's say for argument's sake then, I don't want YouTube to fill the entire screen. I want to put some other bits and pieces on this particular scene. So you can do a number of things here, and if you look at the sources section, you can add a screen capture, which is what we've done with YouTube. You can add a game capture. If you're playing a game, it will capture the game and it will put it on the screen. Really, it's not for casters, it's only for people that just want to basically record videos of them playing games, which I think is probably really boring and not anything that you guys are interested in. You can insert videos, images and HTMLs, so let's do that. So we're going to insert a media file, and over here I've got some animated GIFs, folks, of various bits and pieces. Now for those that join in my cast every week, you will know these, you will love these, and you've seen them before. So let's grab one at random. Let's grab this one, and there you can see there's the dancing penguin. However, because it's an animated GIF and it's got white around the dancing penguin, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change that so we can get rid of the white, and there is only one way to do that. So you right click on your source selection, you go up to colour, we move this out a bit so we can see what we're doing, and we'll put a sticky on it. We click colour key, we click eyedrop tool, and we select anywhere as part of this animation that's got white in it. So blump, Oh, let's get rid of that sticky for a moment because I think it's getting it confused. As you can see, folks, this is really fiddly and it's a real pain in the bum to do. There we go. We did it. We got there in the end, folks, between us. So there's our little animated dancing penguin, and as you can see, it's a little bit fiddly, and sometimes you just need a little bit of patience before you throw your PC out the window and swear. So there we've got an animated GIF. Okay, that's all very well and good. So let's, for argument's sake, say that we want to shrink that little animated GIF. Well, it's simple. You just you pull the cursor over the GIF and you can go, there you go, look, we're resizing him, and there he is. He's immediately underneath the YouTube video now. And I want to add another source because I want 4 sections of this screen filled with something different. So the next source I'm going to add is a webcam. So you go in here and you select the webcam you want to add, and there it is. There's me. Stick myself up there in the corner. Hello, how you doing? And also you can add other things like text. So here is where you add in a test text, and you can change the color of that text by clicking on here. You can have an outline on that text. We can make it black and bold. We can make it really thick, and there we go. So there's our test text, but I don't want that there. I want that down the bottom, so we have to move it. Okay, and we can resize. Pretty much anything you throw onto a scene you can resize quite easily with the mouse button. It's really very simple. We can also make this scroll. So if we right click it and we click on text, down here you can make it scroll to the left. There you go. Or you can make it scroll to the right. And you can change the speeds. Nice and easy, that, isn't it? And to top it all off, I've got a piece of software here. It's called VU meter, and that will basically go off like a little graphic equalizer kind of thing. So if I'm playing music, and obviously I'm not going to play music, but let's assume that I am. We're on mute. Let's play some music. Oh, it's not working. Never mind. What would usually happen is that the volume control would change, of course, and the VU meter would go up and down depending on the volume of the song. So let's say we wanted to add that to our XSplit screen. So here we go. We do add screen capture again, and this is clever because it will just capture the inside of that particular window. Plonk, and there we are. And you can resize that, drag it down, and there's your VU meter. And it's as simple as that, folks. It really is that simple. To flick between the screens, you just click on a scene. If you want to change how it changes between the screens, you know, the sort of animation that you get, you click on view and you select scene transition, and you can have a clock. So I'll show you what a clock looks like. There we go, there's a clock. And you can have some other things as well. Collapse, fade, fan, hole, left, right, up, down, or a wave. There you go, that's a wave transition. So you've got the option to change the transition between your scenes. There's quite a few there, and to be honest with you, you won't use all of them. You can only use one at a time though, you can't use more than one. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That's a simple beginner's guide to how to set up XSplit on only one monitor. You will struggle, folks, because bearing in mind while you're doing all of this, let's go down here, let's switch off my camera. Now remember what I said earlier about removing sources. You can click on remove, or what you can do is you can leave the source still in there but not use it by clicking there, and the tick will come out of the square and it will disappear. But if you want to use it again, you just put a tick in it. Simple as that. Bearing in mind that you're going to have people chatting to you in your chat room, and they're all going to be logged in up here, and underneath here you're going to have to type in all sorts of things like, you know, that kind of thing, swing your pants, that sort of stuff. While your YouTube video is playing, you're going to need to try and find another tune to play. Of course, that needs to be muted, so you need to have all the volume turned down for your next tune, so that when you find a tune you want to play, it's not going to play over the top of your YouTube video. And then when you're ready to play it, you turn your volume up and you press play, and of course the tune will play. You don't need to use Winamp, of course. You can use iTunes or anything like that, but as I said earlier, Winamp for me was really the easiest thing to use because it's the smallest MP3 player that I know of that we can use, and that's really good for us because we've only got a limited amount of space on this screen to work with, haven't we? This section down here on our screen is basically our workspace. We can't really fit too much more in there. I mean, it's bad enough that we have to flick between the screens here like this, yeah? So you ain't going to really be able to do anything much more than that, folks. Now, of course, if you've got another monitor, you will be able to do more. You'll be able to have more on the screen. You can do a screen grab from your first monitor. You can do a screen grab from your second monitor, and it gives you more space to work in. It makes it a lot easier if you've got your YouTube video set up on a separate monitor. You don't have to worry about not having enough room on your monitor to be able to move around and navigate and find your way. It really does make it a lot easier for you. So broadcasting from a single monitor is doable, but you really need to be aware of your space, and you've got to be on guard, and you've got to be on top of what you're doing, because otherwise it's going to be a mess and people are going to wonder what you're up to. Now, I think that's it, folks. I really can't think of anything else to show you. It's all really to do with capturing areas of the screen. Again, we can do it again, and I'll show you how. Let's say I want to capture this part of the screen where all of the text is in, and I want to put that in my XSplit. I click on there, and there it is. Of course, if I move that somewhere else, it will go with it. If I put something over the top of it, XSplit version 2 can cope with that. However, if it's a browser as a source, let's go back to here, and I click a different tab, then you're going to see the other tab on the cast, and everybody else is going to see it too. So you just need to be aware of that, folks. When you're working with one screen and you've got multiple tabs open in your web browser, you need to be careful. So you need to flick to another scene while you're changing tabs in your browser. Hopefully that will make sense to you. Hopefully this has all been of use too. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the casts. Ta-da!